Severance musical. There we go.
Oh, we're already recording.
We are already recording.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the You Are a Severance podcast with your refined hosts, Kali Thomas. Say hello.
Hello.
And Rodnesha Green. Thank you for joining us again between floors. This is more of our between seasons content that we're doing that is pretty much off the cuff. It's whatever we feel like talking about. Some of it is predicated on, what you guys suggest, but it's mostly like, what do we want to talk about? Let's talk about this. We've had some pretty good ones so far. If you haven't been checking them out yet and you somehow got to this one, I don't know how, but yeah, go check the other stuff out.
I mean, I guess it's not important to listen to the Between Floors ones in order at all.
It is not. And that's the beauty of Between Floors. You don't have to go up or down. You're just in the middle and you can just kind of toggle whichever way you want to toggle. There's no episode count. There's no upcoming this and that. It's what you feel. So we've been doing a mix of things. We've had some interviews. We've had some reviews of other televised content.
Mhm.
We have done some more deep dives on severancy things. And we're going to do more of that today.
Yay!
We're going to actually do more severance content today. I mean, we try to keep all of it in the vein, hence why it's between
It's
floors.
all related.
It's all related. And today, what we decided we wanted to talk about was actually an idea we had way back in season 1, which is to do a little bit of a deep dive on the Eagan Family Tree.
Mm-hmm.
So this family obviously is central to everything we know about Severance and Lumon and the show. We have learned a little more since season 1, so I'm glad we waited because season 1 would have been a little rough to try to deep dive. There wasn't too much we knew.
Yeah, I think we started writing the notes and we're like, it's a little bit sparse.
We're like, so Kier.
Yeah.
Kind of started all this. Yeah, there wasn't much to go on. But I think also, which we brought up, we were so intrigued by the in perpetuity episode in season 1, because that was kind of the big bomb drop of like Lumon, what its origins are, who Kier was, what all the stuff is,
yes,
all the different family members. So we definitely were like, oh, we gotta find out more. Want more. And we've gotten a little more since then. There's still a lot of things out there.
Oh, yeah. There are a lot of holes, but I mean, we've learned a little bit more. Yeah.
We have.
But there's a lot of holes. Yeah.
There have even been some new family members who have been introduced.
Just popping up out of nowhere.
So who knows who else is going to get added to this family tree? And, we'll go ahead and get into that now. Before we do, did you know, as we were doing all this research, Kali and I found all these different little Lumon pages. I don't know if you guys knew these existed or were out there, but Lumon does have a corporate website that you can go to. And Kali also found a LinkedIn page for Lumon Industries.
Oh, the LinkedIn is wonderful. They put out all of those kind of like promotional behind the scenes company videos that were floating around social media were all on LinkedIn first. But then they just have some info there, and it's so funny to me. It's so smart. It's such smart marketing.
We'll do little bits of it. Both of them are very nice. Now, the Lumon Industries corporate page is more or less a fan site. Definitely has like some imagery when you get to it that makes it feel like you're on the landing page of like some big company, biotech company or whatever. But then you scroll down and you realize, I mean, they do have a little bit of like a, what do you call it? Like a byline or a mission vision thing. You can go to some different pages. They have an about page that gives you the leadership, who Lumon is. But again, it's very sparse. I kind of would like someone to come up in here and touch it up a little bit, goose it up a little bit.
Well, yeah, I don't think whoever made this season 1, didn't update it at all after season 2. It's definitely not canon, just so you know.
That too. So that's why I'm like, I would love it if either Apple or the show or somebody did make a professional Lumon page, and it could be an Easter eggy kind of thing.
Yeah.
But this is just, it's fun. It's cute. Someone came up with the idea and it's like, oh, this is nice. They have like an intranet page, which is wild, but you can go there and get like the Hello Miss Cobell screensaver.
Yeah.
I don't know what the password generator is for.
And then their careers page is funny. The only open position is head of security operations because, as you know, Mr. Grainer disappeared at the end of season 1.
Somebody's not there.
Which we never got a replacement for Mr. Grainer in season 2.
That's true. We got Drummond, who was not necessarily head of security, kind of
Mm-mm.
served as security to some extent. But
Yeah, not in the same way as all.
do you think that they didn't replace Grainer because they had this new direction that they were going in with the innies? And it's like, oh, you're free. We don't need security.
I feel like there's no way they couldn't replace him because they need security for other reasons, but
True.
maybe we didn't see him because we only saw him when it was time to punish the innies.
True, true,
They
true.
weren't getting punished this season.
That's true.
But I feel like there has to
Oh, you think there's
be
somebody and we
a
just haven't seen him?
replacement for liability purposes. Yeah, I feel like, you know what I mean? Though, like, I don't think Mr. Grainer's only job was implementing the punishment for the innies. I think he had other actual security operations
I would hope
jobs,
so.
right?
I was gonna say, especially since we've said before, Milchick did most of it anyway, most of the times that we saw
Yeah,
break room stuff happening. So,
yeah. But we also know whoever it is wasn't working in a security office because they turned that into the Audi
visitation,
visitation
the
suite.
visitation suite. Question, going back to the Lumen website, they have a
Mhm.
page where you can request a business card.
Oh, I missed that.
Do you think they'll actually send you a business card? I did too. I just came to it.
Oh, order business cards.
So I'm like, if I put my information in
Oh, well, we got to do it right now. Your name, title, you choose your department.
and you choose your core principle, ooh,
Oh, okay.
do I want to go probity just because? Oh, title. I'm going to say, do I want to say, what is the, oh, mammalians nurturable. Do I want to say I'm there?
I want,
Do I want to
what is
go,
it? Something in merriment. What is it? What is
yeah,
it?
choreography and merriment. Yep, yep, yep.
Choreography and merriment.
Definitely. Of course, the artists are like, I want to be in the
Clickety
art
clack.
place.
What would your position? What would I don't play an instrument, so what would I be in there though?
I mean, you could still be a conductor, or you could, like I had to do when I was in band, you could be on the drum line and do cymbals because since I played bassoon, you can't, well, you can march
Symbolist.
with a bassoon, but it is highly ill advised because it is very dangerous. It's a very long metal bocal that you blow into that could easily go right down your throat when you're marching. So they don't advise it. I've seen some bands march with them, but more often than not, the double reeds get foisted into the drumline section, which I did not have a problem with. Drumline was fun. So yeah, you could be a symbolist and do that.
Well, you can print your card. So once you submit it, it takes you to a page where you can print your card. So I will show you
What
here.
core principle did you do?
Cheer.
I'm going to do probity. I always forget what it means,
So
but it just.
Callie Thomas, symbolist, choreography and merriment. Cheer.
Oh.
How fun.
I am the drum major for choreography and merriment
That is
since I
funny.
was a drum major. We've
You
already
were.
discussed this. So we're just going to keep in theme. Anyway, yeah, so this is fun. It's a cute little site. Again, there's only like 4 different pages you can go on, but mostly if you stayed on the main page, it'll take you to fan stuff that you
Hmm.
can get. There's merch and different things that you can purchase. They have different links to different like Etsy shops and things like that. So it's cute. It's cute. But tell us about the LinkedIn page because that, like you said, was a very clever move.
Now, it does not try to perpetrate as a real company if you actually read the information. Like it does say Lumen is a fictitious company from the Apple original series Severance, right? And you can stream it and da 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 da. But it does go back and give you information like founded by the visionary Kier Egan. We pride ourselves on maintaining his legacy of excellence and adhering to his 9 core principles. Shall I read them for you again? Do you guys need a refresher? They are vision, verve, wit, cheer, humility, benevolence, nimbleness, probity, wiles. But anyway, it talks about the severance chip and work life balance. And then it just has a bunch of posts. So some of the posts are things that you have seen if you follow like the Apple on like Instagram and stuff, but then some of the things are only here. So like they have posts with all of the posters from season 2 where they are like sharing it as if they're sharing it to their employees. So, for example, one that I see right on the landing page is the one for Be Ever Merry. May you inhibit the resolve of a worker bee this coming work week, injecting your unique methodologies and proficiencies into the weighty work you're tasked with. The hive thrives when each member is contributing to the best of their abilities. Motivational posts from Lumon Industries to all of its employees. They also have like behind the scenes pictures, and then they have, I don't know, they have like company emails that they send out that will be like reminders for things coming. So like as the show was going on, there were like hints to the next episode and things like that. I highly recommend following if you have a LinkedIn page. I will have to remember as season 3 comes out to check this periodically too, because they have some things like there have also been posts of things that like we have tried to screenshot and struggled seeing, and then it's like just here, like Kali, why didn't we? So like the any resignation request, they have it here as a post. So like,
See.
yeah, that's the LinkedIn page.
So yeah, if you guys are looking for something to tool around in this in-between season, you want something to do, go check out one of those two fun little pages. You need a fix right after you listen to us, of course. And now we can just go straight into it.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to say before we start this long lineage of people?
No, I'm good.
Okay. We don't have obviously any cast details or things like that because, you know, the people are the people and most of these people are just images
Mhm.
actor wise. And we're not really getting into performance stuff. We're just talking story. So, Kali, you want to give us our overview as far as our family tree goes?
So we have Keir Eagan, of course, born 1841, died in 1939 at 99 years old. He was hanging on for a long time. He is the founder and original CEO of Lumon from 1865 to 1939. We have learned this season that allegedly he had a twin brother. Dieter Egan. We
Mm-hmm.
do not know what year he died, but we know from the story that it was sometime in quote boyhood. We don't know. Okay, and then we have Keir Egan had at least 2 children. We don't know if there are more. So Ambrose Egan and Myrtle Egan. So Ambrose Egan, born 1885, died 1941, was CEO for only 2 years from 1939 to 1941. So he took over when Keir passed away. And then Myrtle Egan, born a year after him, was CEO from 1941 to 1959, and she passed in 1960. Okay. And then we have Bayard Egan. Now, the rest of these going forward, the assumption is that they are just like the previous CEO's firstborn, but we don't have any confirmation of that. So
We do not.
Bayard might be Myrtle's child. Okay. So Bayard Egan, born 1902. 1976 and died 1976. He was the CEO from 1959 to 1976. Then after that, we have Gerhard Egan, was born 1920, passed 1991, and he was the CEO from 1976 to 1987. Note here, he is also the other CEO whose tenure was not ended by him dying.
Oh, right. Yes, yes,
And
yes.
then we have Philip or Pip Egan, born 1937, passed 1999, and was CEO from 1987 to 1999. And then Lenora Egan, 1995 to 2003, and she was CEO from 1999 to 2003. That's the next shortest tenure after Ambrose. Ambrose was CEO for 2 years, and Lenora was CEO for only 4. And then we have James Egan. We don't know when he was born, and he is the current CEO since 2003. So, just a couple other names that we know but don't have much other information about, right? We know Imogene or Imogene, as Miss Cobell pronounces it. Egan was Keir Egan's wife.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also know that there is a Gunnel Egan, and this could be another one of Keir's children, or it could be Ambrose's wife. We don't know this for sure.
That's it.
And there we go.
Those are
That's it.
all
Those
the
are
people.
that's the overview.
That is the overview. So, just to get into the family name part of it, we're going to break down some of the name meanings for each of them because you know, screenwriters don't just pick names arbitrarily. There's usually a reason. Sometimes the meaning might give a clue, sometimes it may be based on other things, which we'll find out about one of them. But the name Egan, which I assume they definitely intentionally picked the last name because it needed to mean something or have relevance. comments.
Mm-hmm.
It does have Gaelic roots, so is Irish. The most common interpretation of the name is Little Fire, appropriate, reflecting the fiery or passionate nature often associated with the name's origin. Now, here's the thing. I don't know Irish very well. And so, or Gaelic, and what they're about to make me say, I'm gonna mess it up. So, just letting you know. So Egan or Egan, or may be pronounced long E, it's spelled Egan in its Gaelic form. The surname comes from an Irish Gaelic name that is Mac Iodachain. The Hagen. I know I'm messing it up. I'm so sorry. But that usually is understood to mean descendant of Odd Hagai. Oh, God, this is bad. Odd Ao Hadga. This is bad. I can't say it. I can't say it. Oh wait, if I think of Aoife, so maybe it's Eidhagen. Maybe it's Eidhagen because
Oh
AO
yeah,
might mean E
E. That's true.
instead of what I'm doing. Ah, context.
Instead of what I'm doing.
So maybe it's Eidhagen. Okay, that might be closer. Gaelic Irish ancestry people, let me know.
Somebody type it phonetically in our comments, please.
Please correct us. And I lost it, but the diminutive suffix of that name, idha, means fire or fiery. So essentially, little fire
Mm.
or of little fire. That's how you get to Egan.
All right.
And a fun fact I found while doing the name research, within the Eagan clan in Ireland, it has been known to produce many scribes and lawyers, which I just find interesting because if we're thinking of Keir, I mean, he's very litigious
The scribe for
and a
sure.
scribe for sure, storyteller for sure. So those all check
Mm-hmm.
out. This family knows how to spin a yarn. That's for sure. So yeah, okay, let's get into our list of folks. We're gonna just go one by one, guys, because why not?
Yeah.
Do you want to start or me? Me?
Oh, sure. Yeah, let's start with Kier. We can split it.
Sure.
Okay, so we know from his writings that he was born to parents who were of close biological relationship. We don't know how close, but it's incestuous. It sounded like.
Mm-hmm.
And so Cures is the one we know the most about, right? Because they are supposed to learn from his life and infuse that into their work, right? So we've gotten the most about his life. So we know that he contracted tuberculosis at a young age. That came up in the convalescence of young Kier. There's also some writings where he talked about his first job, right? So his first job, he worked for Edgar Willett at the age of 12, and he was a furniture maker. And the way he was treated there shaped his worldview. So he talks about being beat when things were wrong, and Edgar embodied the temper of malice. And he had to tame the temper of woe while he worked there, but he also had to grapple with Edgar's malice. And then he later met his wife, Imogene, working as a stewman, and she was a swab girl in the ether factory. And we first learn that right when we see that courtship of Kier and Imogene. Fun fact about Imogene, the main Kier family is not the only people who have places named after them in the city of Kier. So there is a swab girl bathhouse and soapery in Kier, and there is also Imogene's clothing. Let's see. You want to split it there?
Sure, sure, sure. So, what we know of him in terms of his adult life, found out that he was a military doctor during the Civil War, which was in his early 20s. That popped up in the finale episode. We found that information out. It's also in the script,
Yeah.
which we didn't do the finale script, did we?
Not yet, but we're gonna.
Stay tuned. And then after he did all that with the Civil War, he founded Lumon in 1865 for pharmaceuticals. We're certain that his experience as a military doctor during a very horrible war. After that, we believe that essentially in this amalgam of trying to come to terms with mortality in life and whatever, and founding his wife during work, whatever. He's found all these ideas about the workplace, and he has formed this, what do you call it, ideology about coworker love, and that being the highest, most sincerest love a person can achieve. He notes that in the compliance manual. We see that in episode 8 of season 1, which I disagree, but that's neither here nor there. And then he founded the town of Kier PE, Principality of Eagan, maybe, or who knows what, in 1892. And we'll come back to Salt's Neck because, again, that kind of plays into the town and Kier and all this other stuff. There's a lot we find out once we get to that episode in season 2. So the town's newspaper is called the Kier Chronicle. It was established in 1893. The byline for it is your trusted source for goings on in Kier and the greater world. Sure, Jan. And so the local coffee shop in the area is called Cup O' Kier Coffee and Bakery. And then going back to kind of like the origins and the name meaning for Kier, it is of Irish origin, which tracks for the last name. So we can maybe infer that Kier has Irish ancestry. But the name Kier is rooted in the Irish name Kieran or Ciaran, which is derived from the Irish word ciar, which means dark or swarthy. It typically has to do with one's complexion or appearance, but it could also mean like intentions or spirit. Who knows? Who's to say? Yeah, that's what we've got on here. So I wanted to go back to the Salt's Neck discussion because we talked about this a little bit when we got to Cobell's episode Sweet Vitriol in season 2, because what we know is that Kier clearly was doing business out of there before he founded the town of Kier. It's kind of like Salt's Neck was his like startup town, for lack of a better term. I tried to go back to the episode and figure out what the time period was that he was in Salt's Neck and that Lumon was operating out of Salt's Neck, because I was trying to figure out when the business came there. Was it before Kier was an established town? Was it after? And then they just shipped all the business of Lumon to Kier. We know it's been there for a while, right? Because they basically said that Salt's Neck wasn't really anything until Lumon came there and all the work was done as a company town out of Salt's Neck. So I was trying to see what I could find from the episode. I couldn't find any dates or any specific time markers.
Well, so there is one marker, and I don't remember where. It must have been posted. Maybe it's the newspaper that the guy is reading
in the
coffee shop. But their paper is the Salt's Neck Sentinel.
Okay.
And it has some kind of something, either like a published date or a founding, like a starting date of like 1872. So
all right.
Town dates back to at least 1870s, but not sure, that at least that's when the newspaper started.
Right. Okay, because this is my thought, right? And I think a lot of people have been theorizing as far as the founding of Lumon, because we know that he was in the Civil War. Civil War ended in when?
Oh Lord, I don't want to sound stupid.
I don't either. I wanted to say 1865, but I was like, that might not be right. Maybe it's 1864.
When he started Lumon.
Yeah. Because I was trying to figure out how much time between the Civil War ending and him starting Lumon or founding Lumon.
Sorry, it is 1865. Okay. You are correct. So it would have founded the same year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then we're saying 1870 something for Salt's Neck. So then if that is the case, then he founded the company and then he did the work out of Salt's Neck before he founded Kier in 1892, right? So
yeah, that's what I was thinking. So either this was like there's another place that we don't know of where he started in Salt's Neck was a early expansion, or it was like a start this business out of my garage situation, and then that was their first location. I think that was their first factory. Yeah, in Salt's Neck.
I think that's right, because I just remember when we watched that episode and we got to that one, and I went back and looked at it too, that one building that looked like it had been around since the 18 somethings.
Yes,
that brick wood building, and it had like that old timey print that was like, Lumon has a cure for all humanity or whatever. And I thought there was a date on there. That's why I went back and looked. I was like, oh, did it have a date? And it didn't. But just the slogan and the look of it looked very archaic. So that
Yes.
would track. All right. Okay. So he used this poor town to be his like you said, his garage startup,
Mm-hmm.
got the business going, and then was like, I don't need you guys. Went over and founded Kier and left and
Right.
abandoned. So now this is interesting because it still must have been functional for him for some time because Harmony came up doing work out of there, right? Or were they were working,
Yeah.
right? So as
Yeah.
swab kids or
Yeah.
whatever. So it had a good
Mm-hmm.
long run then.
Right. And I wonder too if there's some, it wasn't, I don't necessarily think it was a situation of Salt's Neck closed down and everything relocated to
Right.
Lumen. I mean, relocated to Kier, I should say. Because as far as we know, there aren't Lumen factories in Kier. The Lumen offices are in
I was gonna
Kier,
say it
right?
tracks for a typical
So
company,
that it's
right?
like headquarters, right? Headquarters in Kier, but then the
Exactly.
factory is still running in Salt's Neck and probably other
Mm-hmm,
surrounding
mm-hmm.
cities.
Ooh, do you think that he had other towns that he imploded with his business? Or do you think it was all concentrated in Salt Neck?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, well, maybe not in the same way, right? Because I don't think maybe it got better for other places as they moved away from ether, right? You know how a lot of companies, we went over this a little bit, I think,
Yeah.
in the
I think
Salt's
it
Neck,
was this one.
in the
Yeah.
Sweet
Mm-hmm.
Vitriol episode where we talked about like towns, ghost places that become ghost towns.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot of companies that started out with drugs, pharmaceutical companies, bath companies, soaperies, if you
Soaperies.
will, because we didn't know that they were bad until we knew that they were bad, right? So, maybe like Coca-Cola got a town hooked on cocaine before they realized maybe we shouldn't put cocaine in this drink anymore. You know what I mean?
But by that point, it was too late. And it's like, we're just going to start over in a new town. And you guys, good luck with your Coke habit.
Right, exactly. So Lumen probably has a lot of factories in a lot of different towns, but maybe they didn't all necessarily come to the same end that Salt's Neck.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense. Again, going back to the company town, what we know historically of them, especially ones that need like these kind of industrial, environmentally iffy locations, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of these places will put their factories in these small remote areas that aren't near, like you said, the headquarters, because we want that to stay bright and shiny. And we'll have all the gritty grunt work happening off in these small towns. And then, like you said, once they wise up or move to advanced tech or whatever it is, it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
that will bring close to home because that looks so like upscale and revolutionary. And we're just going to act like this over here. Never happened.
Yeah.
But I know a few of the theories I've seen about Kier regarding the founding of Lumen, I feel like has to do with him working in the Civil War and most people kind of theorizing that like clearly that must have like unhinged him to
Yeah.
some degree, that now he has this fascination with like making sure people live forever, don't die, don't suffer because of whatever he was exposed to during that,
Yeah.
which makes sense. And I guess it makes it a little less likely that he was kind of like a huckster, shyster type. Like there's
Hmm.
a little more rooting, right? If he was a military doctor in the Civil War, then he does have some knowledge,
Right.
right? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Unless he was a huckster there
I
too.
think, right. Yeah, that's true. Two things can be the truth at the same
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do think like that was kind of my first leanings was that he was like, look at my wares, da 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 da,
Uh-huh.
not elixirs.
Have a headache? I've got a cure. Stomach ache?
Right.
Another cure. It's the same cure.
Ether for everything.
Ether for all. I don't know. I mean, there's other theories with Kier. There's so many with Kier because Kier is just this mysterious figure. We could go on and
Yeah.
on and on.
When you talk about like theories behind the founding, there is another related one, but we should say it after Dieter.
Oh, okay. Well, then let's get to Dieter.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, so Dieter Egan, we don't know anything else other than what we learned from Woe's Hollow, right? So allegedly, Kira had a twin named Dieter. He was very opposite of Kira in like personality and his nature, right? And they went off to commune with nature, and then Dieter died in Woe's Hollow when the earth consumed him after he what was the spilled
Spilt
his
his
lineage.
seed.
He
Oh,
spilled
spilt lineage.
his
Yes.
lineage into the earth. And as Helena slash Helly joked, like he got punished for masturbating. Mother Nature killed him because he masturbated. So, we have no proof that he existed. We don't have any proof of the legitimacy
Oh,
of the fourth
let me
appendix.
find it. There is a reference to Dieter in the town. And I remember this came up when we
Oh,
were doing
yes.
one of the episodes.
Yes.
I don't remember what building. Hold on, I'm going to find it.
Milchek drives past it
Yes.
on the first night, right? I can't remember who told us this.
Oh, I can't. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. And that's the only sign that maybe he did exist.
Yes.
Oh, you're right. It's Dieter's brother. There's a street
Ah,
sign.
okay.
There's a sign that says
Found it.
Dieter's brother.
Okay, great.
And Milchek drives past it.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So that is the only thing that
Hmm.
is existent that's
Hmm.
like, okay, so the name of Dieter is out there somewhere. Maybe he was
Yes.
real, or maybe it could still
Right.
be a fiction of Kier's, this part of his whole narrative that people believe.
Yes.
Who knows?
Right.
Who knows?
And so one thing, one theory that came up, and I think we've talked about this a little bit on our Patreon, was that, Kier means dark.
Mm-hmm.
If we are to believe that Dieter existed, but obviously there's some embellishments in the fourth appendix because there's no way he died the way he says he died.
No.
There were some rumblings that Kier is actually Dieter, and the original
The original Kier.
the original Kier is who actually died.
There's like a body swap thing, right? Where it's like he
Yeah.
usurped his life or usurped his whatever. I don't, something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a few Dieter theories out there. There's another one, I think we talked about that same episode too, that like Dieter didn't die. He just went off to live in the woods, and that there may be a whole other lineage of Eagans that are more for
Yeah.
the people or more of the earth or whatever,
Yeah.
more nature based, kind of combat Kier's tech survivalist, never gonna die thing.
So the sign that he passes, it seems like it's the name of a band because it says Dieter's, it's like a marquee. It says Dieter's brother live, no minimum. So I believe it's the name of a band that is playing at some like bar.
That's right. That's right. Okay. That's what it is. Yes. 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 So there's a possibility that he's out there living life, or that his descendants are out there. Who knows? I think the other thing I saw that was a theory about Dieter was that, again, there never was a Dieter, but that Dieter was like this part of Kier that he wanted to kind of crucify to become his ultimate, kind of like whatchamacallit in Star Wars.
Girl, I can't tell Star
Well,
Wars stuff.
I'm thinking of Darth Vader, but his son. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Whatever, it doesn't matter because all the Sith Lords have had to do it. But it's like having to kill off this part of yourself that is more
Yeah.
vulnerable and good, so that you can access your dark side and reach to the highest power. Blah blah blah.
Now, that one is interesting, and it makes me wonder that if the fourth appendix is real, I don't know if there's a version of it that's real, right? I do think this story was crafted for Rose
Propaganda.
Hollow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe killing, quote, Dieter was him taming Frolic. And so maybe the
Perhaps.
fourth appendix is like details of how he tamed each temper. And for whatever reason, this section was changed
Or
for,
yeah.
like you said, propaganda.
Interesting.
And the real story is just that, he had to kill this part of himself that wanted to just frolic in nature.
It's like, no, 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 we can't be our most powerful selves if we're off here diddling
Mhm.
in the woods.
Oh, man.
So another thing to add to the mystery of Dieter, if you look at his name origin, and if they're supposed to be twins, this makes it kind of weird, right? So Dieter is actually a Germanic name, or has like German
Mhm.
origin, right? So if he's Irish, it'd be like, why would you name one kid with a German name?
Yeah.
Unless maybe they have German parentage as well. Who knows? We don't know much about his parents. Well, actually, no, because if they were inbreedy, then
No, that's not the case. That's true.
But yeah,
Hmm.
so Dieter in German origin means people's army or army of the people. It says that
Hmm.
it is a masculine name derived from an old German. These are more words that I can't say. Anyway, I'm not doing this to myself again. But it is a shortened form of Dietrich, which again means ruler of the people. So
Mm.
there again is that contrast of like, if it is like this part of him, it's like this part that wants to be communal and sharing and giving. And it's like, but I can't ascend that way. If I'm always stretching out, I can't go up. So maybe again,
Mm.
that speaks to just this dark side of, or what he considers a dark side, right? It's like this less helpful version or
Yeah.
aspect of himself that he needs to kill off. And
Interesting.
or he could be real and maybe he killed him.
Or he could be real. Yeah, I think I talk about this little in my second thoughts episode of it, but when I was re-watching the story of how he passed when they're around the campfire, Helena's reaction, I was thinking maybe Helena's reaction is because she knows it's bull and she can't keep it together.
You have said that, yeah.
Because she's heard all of these stories all of her life,
And at that point, she is Helena being Helly. So she absolutely
Helen,
could be like,
right.
that's not how it goes. That's not the story at
Right.
all. Yeah.
Right.
There's so much more I want to know.
Yeah.
That would be interesting if she does know the real story of Dieter and it comes out
Right.
from
And so
her.
maybe, right, Milchek chastising her in that moment was not a true like, oh, this is not appropriate Lumen behavior, but it was like, you gonna wreck this. We got
Ma'am,
something happening right here. You gonna
ma'am,
spoil.
stay in your lane.
Yes, like we got a con that we're running here.
You are not good at this.
Right.
uh, but yeah, so in addition to my fascination with Dieter Egan, and I want to know so much more, the next Egan that I probably am equally fascinated with is next on our list, Ambrose Egan.
Mm-hmm.
So, what we do know as of right now, very often he is portrayed as the black sheep of the Egan family. It's said by Irving in
Mm-hmm.
episode 3. Another thing that you catch in episode 3 on the bingo
The bingo.
card
Yeah.
is that one of the squares is like, what did it say? Like something shit talking Ambrose. Oh, passive aggressively shit talking Ambrose.
Passive aggressively.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So clearly it comes up multiple times even within the perpetuity wing.
So clearly something about Ambrose wasn't gelling with the rest of the Egan crew. Something about him
Mm-hmm.
wasn't speaking to a little fire or a dark one, or I don't know. Something about Ambrose wasn't gelling. He is affiliated with Gunnel Egan, as we mentioned earlier, possibly his wife, maybe sister, but we get the connection to Gunnel first with the Ballad of Ambrose and Gunnel, which shows up in season 2, episode 10. Well, actually, that wasn't the first connection. The first time we hear it is, or is that both in the same episode? Were both those references in the same episode with the
They are
Gunnel
both in
Egan?
the same
Okay.
episode.
So we
Yeah.
hear about Gunnel twice in the same episode with the
Mm-hmm.
ballad that's played right after the Kier Chosen One Kier marching.
Oh wait, no, you're correct. So so Miss Wong gets sent off to the empathy center in the after hours, so episode 9.
9. Okay, so 9 is the first time
Mm-hmm.
we hear it when they say that the Gunnel Egan Empathy Center is where she's being sent in Svalbard, which we know so much about
Yes.
because polar bears rampant.
Obsessed with Svalbard.
So these are all little things we're putting together with the two of them. I know you say sister. I lean toward wife only because of the ballad thing. Typically, ballads are written about couples, right?
Correct, but I don't think whatever it is, if she is his wife, she must have done something. I can't even imagine what she could have done to get in the good graces of Kier and the rest of the family, especially even being married to the black sheep, to have a center named after her, a location named after her. You know what I
Do you
mean?
want to
I
hear
think
a
they
wild
only kept
theory?
that in. Like, I don't even think to our knowledge, there's nothing named after Imogene in, like, as far as like Lumen locations. There's like random stores and stuff.
True.
But
That we know of.
yeah, I
That
don't
we
know.
know of.
Yeah, that we know of course.
That's true. So, one of the theories going, okay, so let's get into it.
Yeah.
One of the theories that I heard about the Empathy Center when I was doing all my little research, someone on one of the Reddit threads was like, what if the Empathy Center isn't about teaching people empathy, but about stripping them of their empathy? And that's why it's up in the Arctic where there's no one and nothing. And your face.
That makes so much
I saw that too, and I
sense.
was like, oh, yeah, that makes way more sense for the Lumen ideology. But I think someone added to that, and they were like, what if it's both, where it's like they strip them of their actual human empathy and replace it with like this, predicated, like basically they were referencing Milchick when he was talking to Mark and telling him about, do you know about kind eyes? Like giving them all of these
Yeah.
things to do that present empathy, but you don't actually feel empathetic towards people. So that way you can still hold the company line to like
Teaching them how to fake it till they
to be
make it.
sociopaths, essentially. Yes.
Oh no. That's yeah. I mean, I buy it. That makes sense to me.
And I was like, that would make
Um,
so much sense for the location. And then where I wonder with the Gunnel part of it, I don't know the history with Ambrose and the family. There seems
uh-huh.
to be some weird situation or setup between him and her and where they fit in and all this other stuff. It gave me vibes of who was it that abdicated the throne to that it ended up going to Queen Elizabeth and all of them. I can't remember which prince it was, but the one who was supposed to be the heir. And he was like, I don't want to be no heir. I want to
Mm-hmm.
marry this hot
Mm-hmm.
girl that I love and she's divorced and y'all won't let me. So so it's giving me those vibes of like, was there like a forbidden love
Edward.
thing? Edward, yes. Was there a forbidden love thing with Gunnel, or was Gunnel maybe who I have so many questions. There's something there, I feel
Yeah.
like, with
I definitely feel like if she is I don't think it is a forbidden or like
do you think he had a forbidden and maybe
uncouth.
Gunnel is who they were like, you won't marry Gunnel because she is Lumen. I don't.
That's possible. Yeah, I think for whatever reason she is chosen,
Mm,
she is special. Because again, whatever the purpose of the empathy center, I don't think they're naming
the
things.
way they
You know what
sound.
I
Yeah, yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
Right, right. So I think she's important
Okay.
for sure. I think
Mm.
she is held in higher regard than Ambrose, whatever her relationship to him is.
Wouldn't it be interesting if she was like more Eagan than him and they were like, we need you to marry her because that's Eagan.
Yes, yeah, and it made me think of like, was she like, oh, the daughter, if she's not actually a sibling, is she the daughter that Kier never had? Like, is she
Mm.
more important than even
Okay,
Myrtle?
now it's feeling more
Uh,
like Prince Charles than Prince Edward because this a Camilla Bose versus Princess Diana situation where it's like, listen,
maybe.
kick this girl to the curb. She ain't happening. Okay, Camilla's out. We chose Diana. You gonna marry Diana.
Right,
Diana is
right.
royal until she was a problem. But we're not here to
Yeah.
talk about that today. This isn't the Crown podcast, you guys. This is Severance. But that is now the vibe that it gives me. Maybe Ambrose was one of those like not quite fitting in, not quite in the same like mindset as the rest of the Eagans. Maybe Myrtle was more in that vein, but it's like, well, Ambrose was here first and we got to give it to him. There's a royal situation happening here that feels very in
Hmm.
line with what we've seen actually play out in history with royals, where it's like you get someone who shows up in the lineage and they're like, I don't really want to do this. I kind of like just being
Hmm.
chill. I don't want to be a monarch. I don't want to rule people. I just kind of want to be chill. And it's like, you're going to do it. Okay. You're
Yes.
going to like it. We went on a whole tangent, guys. Oh, I forgot to give you guys the name origin for Ambrose. So, Ambrose is actually of Greek origin and it means immortal or divine, which is very ironic, again, for how they treat this man throughout his life, which is neither immortal nor divine. The other interesting fact, when we were talking earlier about why people might use certain names, Ambrose is the name of a character John Turturro played when he was on the show Monk. He was Monk's younger brother,
Mm.
Ambrose Monk. So then people are like,
Hmm.
oh, is this some kind of connection? Is this trying to tell us that Irving is actually an Egan because he played Ambrose? And people are stretching. But on the most basic level, it could be the writers making a nod since
Yeah.
Irving has such affinity for Ambrose as a character. He's like, he seems
Yeah.
to take his side very often whenever they're telling any of the Lumen history. It's always like, I think Ambrose gets a bad rap. I think, he really did it. Like Irving seems to be the only one that's like on his side. He
Yeah.
also, that was another thing, he also mentioned in episode 2 of season 1, which was
Half loop.
Half Loop, thank you. In Half Loop, he also mentioned when he's talking to Bert for the first time, how he appreciated the Ambrose cycle that they put up in the perpetuity wing at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of forgot about that. And I was like, oh, he does mention that. So again, he's the only one to
Yeah.
kind of appreciate Ambrose's contribution to the Lumen lineage, where most people seem to kind of waylay him. And then this also makes me curious, what's the Ambrose cycle of portraits?
Right.
Does each
Because
CEO have a cycle of portraits?
yeah, because for the longest time, I forgot. I think I forgot that was mentioned so early that it didn't have a meaning
No,
when it was mentioned.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think I forgot about it. And then thinking about that now, it's like, oh, yeah, I definitely thought it was just Kier. So at some point, there are teachings, at least at the very least, through the portraits that O&D puts up about the other Eagans. But we really still only have Kier.
I want to see these other cycles.
Yeah.
I want to know, especially for some of these ones that seem very mama, like what's the Gerhardt cycle? What's the Baird cycle? I'm very curious.
Yeah.
Okay. Anywho, that are kind of the nods that we get to Ambrose. But really, because Irving has such a fascination with Ambrose Eagan and tends to be the one to bring him up the most, and because he's known as the black sheep, like I really want to know more about this Eagan in particular and what put him on the outs with this family. Like, did he try to rear up against the company at some point? Did he have problems with the ideology? Did he try to stop Kier from resurrecting? Like,
Hmm.
what? Well, at that point, he wouldn't be resurrecting. He was still alive, right? No, part of it before he became CEO, but whatever. Is there anything else regarding Ambrose we want to get into?
Not until we talk about Myrtle.
Okay, yeah, you're right. See, it all connects, people.
It
You
all
can't do one
connects.
without the other. All
So
right.
we'll move on to Myrtle. So Myrtle Eagan, Ambrose's sister, younger sister, was the first female CEO. We know that she founded the Myrtle Eagan School for Girls in 1952. This was during her tenure as CEO, so she's multitasking.
Doing big things.
We also know that there is a bank named after her because it appears on a credit card. Myrtle Eagan Credit Union appears on like a junk mail credit card application thing in Irving's house.
Mm-hmm.
And she and Gerhard are the only Eagans whose CEO tenure was not ended by their death. So she steps down a year before she died. Or
Yeah, I
was
think
that
you're right.
right? Or
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
that's Gerhard.
Was it
Um,
2 years before she died?
no, yeah, 1 year before. Yeah,
Okay.
1 year
All
before.
right. So a lot of theories with Myrtle.
Hmm.
A lot of things going around about whether Myrtle had a hand in Ambrose's death. Um,
Hmm.
a lot of questions about, yeah, like her, because I think that was another thing that Irving mentioned in the in perpetuity episode was that age 7 she told her father that she would be the first female CEO, and she was correct. Such reverence.
Hmm.
But like clearly this was a girl with ambition.
Yeah.
If anyone had like the spirit of Kier or whatever, Myrtle probably would have been one of those kids within this lineage. And maybe that's what put Ambrose on the outs, is that Myrtle very early showed signs of like ambition and drive and, desire, or I don't know what all the tenants are, verve and wiles and whatever else. And Ambrose didn't, and that's what made him kind of the black sheep. But there clearly is
Right.
like a Cain Abel thing going on with these two, where it's like one of them is favored, maybe just because of birth order, and the other one seeking to prove themselves. I guess it's really more of a, if we're going biblical analogies, more of a Jacob Esau situation, where it's like one of them has a birthright and the other one believes that they should have the birthright because the other one's stupid and doesn't deserve it. I gotta prove that I'm better, that whole thing. So
Right. Yeah. So, the question for Ambrose is why was he CEO for only 2 years, right? Could have
could
been
have been age.
could have been, hey, the board was like, nope, you're not doing it. We're gonna bring in your sister. However, he also died. So then here comes the theory that you mentioned.
Right, right,
Right.
right. Yeah, because one of those theories is that, yeah, Myrtle had a hand in Ambrose's death. Not sure how, but
Hmm.
that because she wanted in and wanted to be CEO and probably didn't want to wait as long as he had to wait. Oh, that he
Got
really
him
does
out of the
tie into
way.
Prince Charles now, because thinking about how long Prince Charles had to wait before he got
Oh goodness.
got to rule. because his mom just lived forever. Anyway, but maybe Myrtle was like, I ain't waiting that long, and I'm not about to die
Right.
before I
And
get.
also, we don't know if Ambrose had children, right?
That's true because we don't know from this
So
point
it
who
might
had
not have
who.
gone to her anyway
Also true.
if she waited long enough.
So yeah, so there is the running theory that maybe she just jumped the line, so to speak, and was like, I'm shooting my shot. I'm gonna get in there while the getting's good. We don't know. It's hard to say because again, Ambrose did have to wait so long before he got to be CEO that it could have just been age. Because how old was he when he died? Like 70 something, 50, 60?
He was 56. So, right,
Oh,
he was not
he wasn't
old
too old.
at all.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so this will come back up. This same situation will come back up once we get down to
Mm,
um
that's right.
um
Leonora.
Lenora
Mm-hmm.
and Jane. Okay.
Yeah.
So just keep that
So
in mind.
yes, keep that in mind. So there may be some history repeats itself. Again, this is all theorizing. We don't know for sure that this is what happened, but it looks a little sus because yeah, he wasn't that old. She's just a year behind him. Again, if we're going by the usual hierarchy when it comes to like handing stuff down, it usually goes to the firstborn, usually goes to the
Hmm.
male, and it usually passes
Hmm.
through their lineage. So if you're trying to get in line and you don't want to wait, then you maybe take matters into your own hands, maybe.
Right.
And again, with Myrtle being as ambitious as she clearly was, and it seems much more connected to like the principles and the values of like Lumen and Kier, and she had a whole long diatribe in her little speech in perpetuity wing
Hmm.
that goes on forever. But essentially, it's her talking. Sorry, because it is long. I have it here. Do I want to read it?
Down at the bottom, at the very
Yeah,
bottom,
yeah,
that
yeah.
quote.
So what we hear her saying when they come into the perpetuity wing, it's like in the background. You hear a bit of it in the foreground and then it kind of fades to the background. But she says, I think to be an Eagan, either a true Eagan or anyone working in the Lumen family, what you are is the keeper of an ethos, a compact of values that we have long held as precious, and which I do believe will one day save this world. And that ethos goes all the way back through my blood to where we all started with Kier. When I was a girl, my father would make me whisper vision, verve, wit, sheer, humility, benevolence, nimbleness, probity, wiles. So again, sound familiar because we have Cobell having that moment, right?
Mm.
So clearly she's a woman with ambition who's going to get after it and get what she wants and not wait around. So who's to say what happened there? Who's to say? So if we are thinking in terms of again lineage passing, etc.,
Hmm.
and again we don't know if Ambrose had children or not or who had kids between him and Myrtle, but if we're thinking Myrtle usurped it, lineage passes to her and now goes through her line,
Hmm.
Baird may likely be her child.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking.
So that's who's next
So
on
on
our
and so
list.
far from that point, maybe.
Maybe, possibly, yes, because again, the age
Yeah.
and timelines get funny and you can't tell. Really, what throws it off is Jane, but we'll get there. So, Baird, let's see. It says what we know of Baird so far. Lumen housing that Mark and Cobell live in, the little subdivision that they're in, is named after him. It's called Baird Creek Manor. We also see a reference to Baird in season 2, episode 1, when we see training room, the
Hmm.
new training room, and they've got all the different little posters around that represent different core principles. And his poster says grin and bared it, and it's supposed to
Hmm.
represent the core value of cheer. And that's most of the references we get to Baird Egan outside of, again,
That's all of them.
what we see in the perpetuity wing. So we don't know much about him. As far as his name goes, let me find it. Baird, oh, where'd you go? Oh, there. I was like, oh no. Baird is of Scottish origin and it means poet or minstrel. It is derived from the Gaelic word bard, so still has some connection there. And it could be an occupational surname, so son of the bard or descendant of the bard. And again, if we're looking at Kier as a storyteller, right?
Hmm.
As we were saying, kind of connected to his name origin, then it would make sense that maybe he has a bit of a
Hmm.
story poetic aspect to him, maybe in his tenure as CEO. Really don't know what that means as far as what kind of CEO he was, but that is what his name origin denotes.
Hmm. The fun one ish.
Oh, fun fact. Found this that says famous Bairds. I guess Baird is typically a surname and not a first name, but we've seen that before. It says John
Hmm.
Logie Baird, the inventor of the television, is maybe the most well-known bearer of this name. Kind of funny.
Huh.
Storytelling, television.
Oh goodness.
Maybe Baird introduced commercials to Lumen. Maybe all the commercials we see is in the vein of like Baird's aspect of that innovation with the company. This is all conjecture, guys. I don't think we found too much else for him. I don't know if anyone else has any insights. I haven't seen anything that really relates or stands out in any way.
No.
All right, moving on.
Okay, so then the next one, Gerhard, again, the assumption is that he is Baird's child. The only thing we know about Gerhard is that their restaurant that Mark and Alexa go to their dates on is Gerhard's. The Severance Wiki, when I was trying to look for more information about him, said, and I could not find a picture of it, and I need to go back and watch, said that on the second date, one of the members of Optics and Design, you could see their Audi is having dinner in the background.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what the wiki says. I couldn't find it myself, so I need
We're
to
gonna
go
have to
back
go
and
back
watch
and
that
see.
episode.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
But so the other thing we know about Gerhard is that he was the other one who didn't die in office, right? He retired 4 years before
So he
his
got a
death.
good little bit of
So
retirement.
another question of he got a little bit, unless he was like forced out. Like we don't
Sure.
know, like what was this transition like? Yeah, we don't know. But a little trivia from one of the Severance wikis. The first usage in America of the title Chief
Oh,
Executive
that's right.
Officer was not until 1972. So while Gerhard is the fifth Eagan to take up the mantle of running Lumen Industries, he is technically the first CEO. And so the perpetuity wing puts, labels them all as CEOs all the way back to the
Mm-hmm.
founding of the company in 1865. So this could be argued that since the perpetuity wing is on the severed floor, it's only for the innies, that they chose to modernize the terminology and just call everyone CEOs to not elicit any questions from the severed employees. Fun
Fun
fact.
fact. Another thing I noticed when I went back and watched the In Perpetuity episode was when now, granted, Irving has reverence at this point for all of Lumen, everything, but when they pass Gerhardt's statue or wax figure, whatever they're called, little
Robot.
robot things. Oh wait, no, they don't have robots. Remember, that's 5X. 5X has robots.
That's true.
They're just weird mannequins. But when they pass it, Irving kind of stops and look and says, Gerhardt, and then continues on. So it was just an interesting little moment that they hung on that I was like, is there something with him too? Does he
Okay.
have an affinity for, is there something with Gerhardt? I don't know. But I just found that interesting to note on a cinematography side of things. FYI, the name meaning for Gerhardt, it is of German origin.
Okay.
So we're getting into the Germanic again. It loosely translates to brave spear or strong spear. It's a combination of German words, ger, which is spear, and Herr, which is brave or strong. So it usually historically ties to courageous individuals, particularly in the context of warfare. So just a little FYI, just something to note. Didn't get any famous Gerhardts in here. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's all I got. You got anything else? Nope.
No, and we really don't have
Yeah.
nothing for
So
the
the
next
next
one.
one is Philip, aka Pip Egan. And guess what?
Pip.
We don't know a doggone thing about Pip other than he got a nickname.
We know
He's the
that.
only one with a nickname.
Yep. That bar and grill that Mark gets the coupon
Pip's
for
Bar and Grill
is named
that has
after
a
him,
VIP
and
section,
that's
which is just a
old
sign and a rope
VIP,
that disconnects your
a booth with a rope.
and
Mm-hmm.
that's it. That's all we get. Supposedly, this is again what I've seen, but I've seen nothing that ties to it. Supposedly, they say that Philip is James and Lenora's father. But again,
Father,
we don't
yeah.
know that for sure because
We don't know that. Yeah. What I was reading said that at some point someone says
yeah,
Leonora's
I
was
read that
was
too.
was
I
Pip's
read that
daughter,
too.
but I don't ever hear them mentioning it about James. So I don't know where
I
that
don't
came
either.
from. I think that's just a theory
Just
that
guessing.
took
Yeah, yeah,
hold.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I even tried to figure out where we heard that Leonora was Pip's daughter, and I could not find it.
Yeah, I tried to find it. And the one wiki is usually pretty good about like time stamping where it
And it
comes up
didn't.
and it says it. It says it, but it doesn't stamp it anywhere. I'm like, come on, I need your
Sources,
sources. I need your
people. We are in an
sources.
age of ill media literacy. We need sources.
Exactly.
So yeah, I couldn't find it. Anyway, so I guess let's just go on to Leonora because I don't know that there's much. Oh wait, sorry. Let
Right.
me give
Yes.
Pip's
Oh,
name
the name.
meaning.
Philip Pip.
Philip Pip. What a funny. Who do you think named him Pip? Who gave him the nickname?
I don't know. Have to do with his temper or what core principle
Oh,
he
I remember
embodied.
this one now. Now I
What
kind of hold on. Now I want to see, is there a name meaning for nickname Pip? Because I'm like, you know how
Pip?
sometimes people they give people, oh, it's literally, I guess, the same. All right, never mind. All right. Well,
Yeah.
I guess maybe the thing we can possibly infer, but it may have absolutely nothing to do with this man, is Philip originates from the Greek name Philippos, which means lover of horses, combining the Greek words philos, which is love, and hippos, which is horse. It has long been popularized by figures like Philip II of Macedonia and Philip the Apostle, blah, 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 Phillips, a lot of Phillips.
Hmm.
So, and then when I saw the nickname, it just said someone who was fond of horses. So maybe Pip grew up
Okay.
around a lot of horses or riding horses or a cowboy or something.
Yeah. And I mean, he was CEO for 12 years. It's a long time. I don't really know why we don't know more
Mm.
of him because he's one of the longer
Do
tenures.
you think he's just one of those like middle of the road CEOs that is just like,
Yeah, maybe.
nothing great happened, but nothing bad happened. You just kind of held down the fort. And that's why there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
That's why he could go off
Yeah,
and ride
maybe.
horses. I don't know.
Right. He had work-life balance,
There
perhaps.
you go. Okay. Is he, besides Kier, we're not going to factor in Kier because he clearly had the longest tenure as CEO. Is he the longest or is James longer? Since, well,
I
we don't,
don't think he's the
okay.
longest. Well, we don't know about James
Yeah.
for sure, but no, because Myrtle was 18
Oh,
CEO for
okay. All right.
18
Of course
years.
he was. I've got a whole
Yeah.
head canon now for Myrtle. Oh, I didn't give
Yeah.
Myrtle's name origin either. Sorry, guys. My bad.
Oh,
We
we didn't.
completely got caught up
Yeah,
in the
go back and do
theories.
that.
Myrtle, for the record, is originated again from a Greek name. It is derived from the word myrtos, which refers to an evergreen shrub with fragrant flowers. The name is associated with love, beauty, and purity, as the myrtle plant was traditionally used in bridal wreaths and ceremonies.
Hmm.
Myrtle was also sacred to the Greek goddess Aphrodite, goddess of love and beauty, further linking the name to love and fertility. The myrtle plant has long been associated with love, beauty, purity, and protection. So, yeah. Some other sources say the name can also mean victory.
Yeah, like how
Mm.
she victoriously overthrew her brother for the throne.
With grace and beauty. She's beauty and
Oh,
she's
that's funny.
grace.
Uh,
She just destroyed
the
her brother. I'm
motivate.
just kidding.
Oh, oh Lord. The poster for Myrtle, the motivational poster.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
I think it. I think it's one of the extra ones that was made, but didn't necessarily end up in a shot because I don't recall this, but I was looking at the wiki and it's just like her making like, well, she's doing the pose, the
Mm-hmm.
riveter
Mm-hmm.
pose, but then she's also like doing the Heisman pose, and then
Victory.
and the up close, she's like has a face like, hey. So I guess she's supposed to be like,
She's a
look
champ.
at get you one who could
She's a
do all of them,
champion.
right?
Okay.
Like
She's a champion.
she's a hard worker and she's also
Get you a
fun
winner.
and fearless.
Oh, I have
It's
such a
so funny.
headcanon about Myrtle Eagan. I also find it wild too, which I'm surprised they don't depict it in my little photo here with the CEOs, but in the perpetuity wing, she is the only person wearing like a bold color. In fact, the color you're wearing,
Color.
she's got a big bold
That's
red suit with
true.
a hat. Lady,
That is true.
do it, lady.
Do it, lady. If you
If
know,
you
you
know, you
know.
know. Oh boy. So anyway, all right, let's get to Leonora. What do we got? What do we got?
So we think she's Philip's daughter, right? And all we know is that the neighborhood where Irving lives is named after her. So he lives in Leonora Lake. And we know that she was only CEO for 4 years, very, very short.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about that when we talk about Jane.
Okay. The one thing
You want to do her?
I'll do her name. The other thing that I found interesting in rewatching the In Perpetuity episode is that so we know there's the moment with Helly when she sees James figure and when they pass she kind of lingers on it a while like looks familiar, something
Yeah.
about that
Or like,
face, right?
uh-oh.
So they make sure to
Yeah.
hold on that so you can see her kind of having this like do I know you moment of recognition, right?
Right.
This is long before we find out who she is, but we get that little clue. But another one that happens is with Leonora. There's a moment where Irving's talking to her and she stands directly in front of Leonora's statue and they are like face under face. And it's like the hair looks the same, the face shape kind of looks the same. And I was like, are they trying to infer that Leonora is Helly's maybe mother, maybe, or something?
Oh, I was just like, oh, auntie,
Or
hey,
or
auntie.
that, but and I'll get to why maybe mother because there's some theories that maybe
Incesty ones.
yeah.
Oh, gross. Oh no.
but
Oh
but
no.
moreover there definitely is like a resemblance thing that's happening that I didn't catch the first
Okay.
time that I was like oh I think they're trying to drop another
Yeah.
hint of like look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this.
Eh, eh, eh.
What if
Interesting.
okay wait I'll wait till we do James because this is now a theory that I'm thinking in my head canon for me.
Okay.
And this is just my headcanon, so we'll get to it after we do James. But going to the name meaning and then we'll move on. Leonora, which again, we'll find interesting because it is similar to another name we're going to get to later in terms of name meaning. So Leonora says it has Italian and Greek origins, but primarily it is translated to mean light or shining light. It is a variant of Eleanor and has roots in the Latin word Leo or lion and Nora or light. So carries connotations of strength, compassion, and elegance. In Greek, Elios, which is the root of Eleonora, translates to compassion or mercy, versus in Italian, it usually has to do with elegance and beauty. So, yeah, light, shining light, enlightened one, or compassionate light. Those are all kind of the loose translations of Leonora. Okay, moving on.
James.
James has no shame. None. All right, James, here we go. Okay. So, James, what we know of him so far, he wears a pinky ring. Ain't that player? A pinky ring with an old Lumon logo on it. We see it in episode 9 of season 1. His favorite breakfast, similar to that of Happy Kier, 3 raw eggs in milk, because, why not make soup soupier? Well,
Gross.
he is credited with the creation of the severance chip. We know that ain't true.
Lies.
But credit goes where it goes. He has, as we found out by the end of season 2, multiple illegitimate children just floating all around Kier in every which way. We are not sure how many and who, but we know they exist, and we know they be hauling them up to that birthing center and then they disappear. So who knows? There are theories about of possible Eagan bastard children that are floating around. We'll get to that, but this is what we know so far. The Wintertide Fellowship, also in James' namestead and honor. The bust that they give is James' face. They clearly update it because the bust they gave Cobell was a much younger James, and the bust they give Miss Wong is a much older James. So clearly this is his thing. I don't know if he created the Wintertide Fellowship or just became the steward of it, or who knows what, or if it came about during his tenure as CEO, who knows. But yes, as I said, it was bestowed upon both Miss Cobell and Miss Wong. And James, fun fact, actually was the one who presented it to Miss Cobell when she won the prize when she graduated from the Myrtle Eagan School for Girls. Was that when James? No, it couldn't have been when James became CEO, right? Because that would have been prior to that, right? So maybe this is just his
that was prior to it.
Yes.
But we don't know if like the Wintertide Fellowship after she graduated was her working under him, and that's when he procured the
severance schematics.
Plans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So either way, him stealing. So We don't know when he was born. We don't have a placard of his dates like we do the others. So it's a mystery as of right now. We do know, however, that Leonora died at a young age, around like 48, I believe.
Yeah.
And she was only CEO for 4 years. So it is possible that James might be Leonora's brother and not her son. We don't know
Hmm.
because we don't exactly know how old James is at this point.
Right.
So let's talk. Oh, wait, let me do his name origin and then we'll talk theories.
Okay.
So, as I mentioned earlier, biblical analogies of Jacob and Esau, James
Hmm.
means supplanter or holder of the heel,
Hmm.
which again, similar
Hmm.
to Jacob, if
Hmm.
you know your biblical parallels. So it is a shortened form of the Hebrew name James, which itself is a derivative from the name Jacob. And in Hebrew tradition, Jacob is known for supplanting his brother Esau to receive Esau's birthright and blessing from God and his family.
Hmm.
Therefore, James carries the connotation of someone who takes the place of another, often through cunning and trickery.
Hmm.
So, feel like that's pretty telling of who we're dealing with.
But yeah, so definitely seems very reminiscent of Ambrose and Myrtle.
Mm-hmm.
Short CEO tenure. And so yeah, I definitely think the idea that they're siblings is strong.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And James definitely seems to be, just from what we know, the harshest of all of the Eagans. He's probably like a throwback CEO to, stricter and more devout Kirist times.
Yes.
I think,
Yes,
I feel
for
like.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So, here's my wild theory that I just thought of,
Uh-oh.
and maybe somebody else has thought of it. I don't know. I'm sure I'm not alone. Here's my wild theory. What if Helena, if it's not incesty, what if Helena is actually Leonora's daughter? And when James had her, he just took Helena as his own kid because he saw Kier in her and wanted to
Mm.
have that lineage of Kier go through him. So rather than having Lenora's name and lineage, he just, this is my child now. I'm going to just raise her as mine.
Hmm.
And then when she lost it, he was
Hmm.
like, well, crap, now I got to go make some more babies somewhere.
Maybe.
Or maybe he was already trying to make babies and wasn't seeing that spark. And then when Leonora had Helena, was like, oh, she gets the baby. She don't get the baby. I get the baby. You got to go.
Maybe. So, but how old do we think
I don't know because
Helena
we don't
is,
know how
though?
old he is.
We don't know how old he is, but we know Leonora died at 48 years old in 2003.
Right.
So it's possible she had a late baby, but
Unless again,
if you know what I mean, if he killed her to take her baby, I would assume that her death would have been a lot earlier.
mm,
You get what I'm saying? Like I
true.
don't
Because at that
I
point,
don't
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
it was still pretty uncommon at this point for you to have a baby at like in your
True,
40s.
true, true. So she was 48. If we're backtracking age based on what Helena said, what would that have made her in 2003? If she's, well, we don't, hmm,
Well, if Helena, well, okay, so we have this in the notes later on for Helena, but Helly R says she's 30,
right,
thinks she's 30 years old,
right.
right? So if we think this takes place at sometime around
2020 ish,
2020
yeah.
ish, right? That would make her born in
90,
1990.
okay, all right. So she would have been maybe
So
13, 12, 13, something.
she would have been 13 when she was snatched away, if
So then
she's
my other question is
Lenora's
maybe
child.
if she wasn't, maybe it's not a like she wasn't aware, but maybe it's just like James adopted her and now he's father. And maybe that explains the
Yeah,
disconnect.
that could be. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
interesting. That's my wild hair. That's what I got. But just when you said that, because again, seeing that moment where they showed them side by side, I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
interesting. Interesting if true. So I don't know if that's the full reason why James killed Leonora, but they're weird about Kier. So any spark, he might have been like, hey, not
Yeah.
only do I want to be CEO and you shouldn't get to be CEO, but I want that baby.
Yeah, maybe when he saw Kier in her, it was just teenage hormones.
Very true. Very
She
true.
was going through puberty. She was going through puberty and was
That's
feisty.
very true. That's very likely and very true. Oh, interesting. And again, we don't know James' age, so we don't know if he's a brother to Leonora or if maybe he's an uncle to Leonora. Is there a possibility that maybe James came down the pipeline of like an Ambrose lineage instead of the Myrtle lineage, and then maybe to try to get things back on track? Who knows?
Oh.
Could be.
Yeah, so they could just be cousins. They could be first
They could
cousins.
be.
Huh. Interesting.
So we won't know until we get some dates and we get some genealogy going, but that's just what's going through my head at the moment. But James is
Yeah,
shisty and shady, whatever the deal is.
for sure.
Or reverse it. Maybe James isn't of Ambrose lineage. Maybe he's in the Myrtle line. Maybe after Myrtle left, they were like, listen, Ambrose's son is of age and it needs to go to him. And you were cool for a little bit,
So
but now we're going back to the
that would make Baird Ambrose's child, not Myrtle's.
possibly.
And then we'll just shift the line back to him.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Huh. Or Myrtle didn't have any children and it had to do that.
Ah, because she's so ambitious, she ain't got time for kids.
Yeah.
She's over here making moves, making credit unions and such. Can't be making
Yeah.
children. It's very true. Who knows? Ah, I want an Eagan backstory so bad. Ah, it's moments like these. Okay. Anything else we want to say about James theory wise? I mean, again, we know all the stuff with the illegitimate kids. We know there's a lot of theories
Mm-hmm.
going around about Rickon possibly being one of those illegitimates. I saw another
Yeah.
theory that Alexa might be one of those illegitimates, which I was
Oh,
like,
Lord.
what? Because someone was theorizing that maybe some of these lesser characters that they've introduced us to, but we've never like they haven't had like front and center stories could possibly be some of
Right.
these illegitimate children. I forgot who else they said with Alexa might be one of them. There was someone else that they mentioned, and now I can't remember who. But yeah,
I think
maybe.
it's also possible that Helena's not the first of his children to be severed, too.
Ooh,
So if some of his illegitimate children, if we are going with the theory that he just kept having babies, right? I mean, that's not the theory. He says that basically,
right.
that he kept having babies to try to find cure again, trying to find the spark. If they were disposable to him, maybe some of them got
Severed.
served up to be severed, and they are in different departments within women.
That'd be wild. Oh, that'd be wild. Ah.
Yeah, if like one of the mammalian's nurturable people is just randomly also Helena's brother or something.
Oh gosh. Tragic. Okay. I just want somebody to figure it out season 3. I need at least one person to show up and be like, Jamie Egan is my father, and I'm here to claim my birthright. We shall see. What else with James? There's all the stuff with the revolving. We don't quite know what that's supposed to mean. Is it death? Is it a recycling? Is it a severance chip thing? Is it a
Yeah. So if it's death, right? Helena's set to take over at James Revolving. So did Myrtle and Gerhardt not have a revolving because they didn't die until
mm,
after they were already not CEOs anymore?
mm, hmm. Yeah, the revolving thing is interesting because they don't reference anyone else having a
Yeah,
revolving except for Jane. So
that's true.
we don't know if it's every CEO goes through this or only certain CEOs get
So
revolved
is the revolving a new thing because the
because of
chip
the
now
chip.
exists?
Oh, okay. True.
So it has to do something with the chip.
True, true, true. So here's another question. This is random, but connected.
Uh-huh.
Because a lot of people have postulated that the revolving has to do with the chip and Kier's consciousness, and that
Mhm.
it's a way to preserve Kier from CEO to CEO.
Right.
But here's my question: how are they doing that prior to the chip? Like, how would they have been able to capture Kier's
Exactly.
consciousness to transfer down? Every time
The
people present that,
the
I'm like, but they didn't have severance
right.
until like so late. So
Right.
what were they doing before?
James is the one who invented severance. So how could they backtrack? They couldn't have anyone's previous. He's the most recent person. So how would they?
I'm like, unless they're stating that there's some AI generated version of
Yes, like
Kier
some
based on
version
all the
from
stuff that they
his
have. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
writings. Yeah, maybe, but that could never be truly.
Kier, exactly, exactly. I don't
Yeah,
get it.
I don't think it, I think it is more likely that James is so egotistical that he wants to pass on his consciousness, not Kier's.
Okay, apologies for anyone who may be listening if you're a Scientologist, but that just made me think of the difference between like L. Ron Hubbard and who's the guy that's currently in charge?
Oh,
What's
yes.
his
Oh my
name?
gosh, I've watched so many
I know,
docs about
same,
this.
same. That's why I'm bringing it up because you know me. I love a cult doc. Again, apologies, sorry. No offense, but it's just ticking a box in my brain. The one who's BFFs with Tom Cruise.
The David
David
Miscavige. I have
Miscavige,
that
thank
name,
you.
Miscavige.
So it made me think of that because there are a lot of people who are a part of the church that very much hold and espouse the teachings of L. Ron Hubbard, but then it seems like David Miscavige trying
Yes.
to do his own thing, and it's kind of like
Bastardized it.
using L. Ron
Hmm.
Hubbard to prop himself up and say I'm
Hmm.
basically the messiah of his teachings, but really it's like he's trying to make himself kind of the guy and kind of like
Hmm.
yeah, L. Ron Hubbard was kind of like over here, but really what we're doing Miscavige going forward. So that's what it made me think of. It's like maybe it's that type of thing, like you said, where he's really trying to just keep his spirit alive going forward.
Yeah.
And it makes sense for the quotes that we see again in your little image, because those were other ones that I wrote down
Oh, yeah.
that are side by side with his. One of them, one side, there's Keir Egan's side,
Hmm.
and it says the remembered man does not decay. And then James' side says history lives in us, whether we learn it or not. So maybe there's again kind of he's at the center of that where it's like really cure, yeah, but cure through me, right?
Right. And those quotes is so interesting that they have the two of those together because they kind of conflict, right? Where it's like on the one hand, it's like we have to consciously remember to keep it alive versus James' quote that's like, nah, it's gonna be here regardless
Mm-hmm.
in me.
In me.
In me, regardless, because it's gonna be in the chip. And we gonna pass this chip around.
History is in me.
Mm-hmm.
And whether you learn it or not, you gonna get me.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's on accident, everything's on purpose. So that totally tracks for James. It's still very curious what the heck they were doing with the Cold Harbor project with him and why he was so bent when that went awry. Because it's like, again, were they creating this perfected chip that he could then superimpose himself into or make a part of
Mm-hmm.
himself? Or I'm trying to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
If this chip was about escaping death so that he could have it implanted and never die because he never experiences harm or decay or whatever, or if it was about giving him a perfected brain to put his mentality into so that he lives in everybody. I don't know because I don't
Yeah, I
understand
don't
science.
know. I feel like he's racing a clock though, because that man looks like death.
And maybe that's why him was so upset. It's like, I ain't got much time. This was supposed to work.
Right.
Now
He
she's
was so
gone.
upset.
He was very mad,
Yeah.
very upset.
Oh man.
And he did not call
Yeah.
fetid mop it. He went a step further.
Right.
um, okay.
Uh
Let's get to our last gal.
yeah. Oh, really quick, I
Mm.
was going to just hold on. I just want to so the actor who plays
Oh
James
yes, yes,
is
yes.
76.
Yes.
So, just to just to play a little game here,
Mm-hmm.
if we think season 1 takes place in 2020, that would make him born in 1944. That would make him actually older, born before Leonora, which I
So
think
again,
may lend itself to a more of a like a cousin situation. Like I'm older than her, it should be
it
me,
should have been
but it's
me.
getting
Should
passed
have
down through
been
this
me.
line.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm gonna stop this train right now, and I'm gonna take your kid,
Hmm.
and it's all gonna be me.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I hope that's true. And then maybe that means Helly isn't born of such a horrible, horrible stuff. And maybe that's what killed Kier in her.
Maybe.
Maybe that's when Kier died, when you became her daddy.
Right.
Because you're an
You murdered her mom.
awful, horrible human being that makes her eat
Hmm.
eggs. She doesn't want to eat eggs. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Helena. So again, we know Helena. We don't know how old she is, but Helly thinks she's 30. So something around there. But I just don't believe anything that the
The
innies
innies.
say about themselves because they're just being fed information and it's all there's so much of it is wrong that why would this be true? And then we know she's next in line to be CEO, and that she volunteered for severance as a publicity stunt to prove the severance chip's merits. in this political climate where they're trying to expand the severance chip's use outside of just Lumen.
Mm-hmm.
And then it spectacularly backfires when Heliar becomes the most defiant member of the MDR crew. But yeah, we see in the season finale of season 1 that Helena's footage and of her speeches and whatnot show that she is outwardly championing severance to help globalize and advocate, for its expansion. And we know that she is terrible, and I hate her so much.
She's doing her best.
There's no redeeming, there's nothing. There's no redemption for Helena for me. I don't like her. She lied to me. She
Betrayal on
deceived
every
me.
level. That feels like it was so
She
long
cannot be
ago when
trusted.
we were in that will they won't they stage of like, is it and you were so like, please don't let it be
It's
true.
so upsetting on my rewatch because I'm just like, I can still rationalize when I watch the first 2 episodes why it is not Helena. I can still, and I mean, just to like, man, we can't say it enough how good Britt Lauer
Yes.
is, because I'm
Yes.
rewatching it.
I
I know
still
what I know
believe.
already, and I'm still like, no. So mad
Oh.
about it.
I just remember when they confirmed it, I was like, oh, Kali's going to be really upset. Oh man, but it was so good, and she did such a good job playing those 2 roles. Good grief.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, name meaning for Helena, it is of Greek origin.
Yes.
It generally translates to torch or shining light.
Mm-hmm.
With Helios being the root word meaning sun, and Selene or Elene being moon. Helena is derived from the Greek name Helene. There's some mythology stuff in there with that character or that name as a character in Greek mythology, portrayed as a symbol of beauty, love, and captivating allure and light. So that is where we get Helena. So again, Helena, Leonora,
Mm-hmm.
same meanings.
Were you just lovingly named after your auntie, or
Is that
is
your
that your
mama?
mama? Oh man.
Yeah, so when I saw that, I was like, they got the same name meaning. Now, come on now.
Come on now.
These writers aren't dumb. Oh, I hope they reveal that. Oh, I don't know how they'll reveal it. Because at this point, we don't know on the broad spectrum of Eagans who all is alive besides Jane, right? Because I'm like, are there cousins? Are there aunts and uncles? Is this like the Royals where like the main family gets like center stage, but then the side folks are just kind of there,
Right.
just there.
We don't know if he has any contemporaries from his family that are alive, or even if any elders that are alive, right? Like it's possible there's like a great uncle or great
Right.
aunt or
That didn't
something
get to be CEO and is
still
just
alive.
chilling. Just chilling.
Right. You know what? Living their best life, because why they don't want to deal with that,
I hope that's true. I
somebody
hope they're
somebody is like on
detached.
a farm, 96, like
Like I
I don't
dodged
want to
that
deal
bullet
with
and
none of
I'm so
that.
glad I did.
Yeah. Yeah. They living out their golden years,
Oh,
not bothered by
do
the
you think
politics.
Helena might have, not to say it's a redemptive arc, but do you think Helena might have kind of a Cobell exploration where she needs to kind of get away from Lumen to like figure herself out and run into some other relatives, Egan's or something?
Maybe if after they catch Mark and
Oh,
Helly
that's
running through
right.
the halls, they're like, you can't come back here no more. So she doesn't have anything else to do.
You
You
are
know what I mean?
banished.
Because
Banished.
like, how are we? I mean, this is getting into other
I
theories, but
know.
how are we gonna? How does season 3
I
start?
don't know.
How do we pick up from
It
where we
has
left
to.
off?
There's no way they can jump. Because what's the jump? You're in
What's the
jail?
jump?
Like, like y'all are in some Lumen
What's
prison
the
in the
jump?
basement of the
They're
testing floor?
I was gonna say they're in the basement where they were keeping the lady whose
Oh,
baby
that's right. From the
Cobell
pilot.
stole in the pilot
We are
script.
going to get that scene somehow. It has to come
We
back. They have
gotta.
taken other things from the pilot. Side note, if you have not listened to our episode about the
Right.
pilot script, it's very different and very wild from the pilot we get, but
Please.
they have borrowed bits and pieces at different
So
intervals from
much
that
of it
pilot.
informs my head canon.
Yes.
So much of it.
Yes.
You have to listen to our episode, or at the very least read it for yourself,
Yes.
because it's easy to
Yeah,
find.
yeah.
Because my goodness.
It's everywhere. You can easily find it and read it. And again, if you need help breaking it down, listen, we have a 2-part episode about it. It's
We
great.
do.
It's great. But it does inform so many things. I think of so much that takes me back to that pilot that I'm like, oh, is this when they're going to bring this in now? Are
Yes.
they going to take this now? Because
Yes.
they've done it. They've done it
Mm-hmm.
for a few things. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Anyway, we already talked about some stuff where Helena is concerned. We've made up some of our own theories. There's other theories that exist out there. I mean, a lot of it really had to do with if she's an Eagan or not between season 1 and season 2. And then
Right.
that got revealed. Now we know she's an Eagan. What we don't know, like you said, Callie, is how will this play out now that her innie has made this choice to
Mm-hmm.
run through the halls with Mark? And where do we go from here? Because at some point they got
Yeah.
to leave the floor. They can't stay down there forever. People know them. Like what?
Right.
How does that work?
And also, the chip is forever, as far as we know.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it risky to have her be the CEO with this chip in her head, right? Because there's always the potential for somebody to hack
Corporate
it and implement
espionage.
one of those
You've
protocols
talked about it.
on her, right? So, like, just because you're saying, like, well, I'm never going down there again, Helly will cease to exist. Mm, she's there.
She's there, and as long as that chip is there, they can, like you said, it could be
Hmm.
hacked, it could be accessed.
Yeah.
There could be. I mean,
You
we've
know,
theorized between us on this pod about how there might be other corporations who have Lumen tech that just hasn't put it out there, and they're waiting for Lumen to kind of get to a certain level before they start. You
right?
know,
What if yeah, like what if there's corporate espionage going on and the word gets out that the future CEO's any wants to bring down the whole company? We can get in there and reactivate her
and now we can
and
control
she can
her.
help us from the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And side note, guys, we are getting the corporate espionage stuff. This isn't just coming out of our brain. We are deriding a lot of this from the Lumen manual and the story, the supplemental material that came out
The
in season 1, the
Lexington
Lexington
letter.
letter, where they legitimately had the refiners involved in some type of corporate espionage with another competitor of Lumen. So that is happening.
Hmm.
That is canon. So
That is canon. And so just the super fast recap, the letters and the goings on in that supplemental drop intimates that what was being refined was blowing up their competitors' trucks.
mhm. Yeah, what the refiners are doing from location to location, office to office, clearly is varied. We know what Mark was
Hmm.
doing with his refining, but
Yeah.
what is Helly doing with hers? What's Irving doing with his? What's Dylan doing with his? What's happening at 5X?
Yeah, I have a new theory, but I'm not going to say it here because I just recorded my second
Oh, it's
thoughts
going to be on Second
episode
Thoughts.
for episode 8. So it's going to be on,
Ooh,
no,
ooh.
yeah, I talk about it in episode 7, Shikai Bardo. So that will drop on Patreon next week if you would like to hear
Mm.
it. Well, actually, by the time we post this, it will have already dropped.
Right.
So join Patreon
And you
to
can
watch
hear
my,
what that
yeah,
theory is, and you don't have to
you can
guess.
hear what my theory is.
Oh man, so much. But that is essentially our Eagan family tree as we know it
Hmm.
to date. These are
Hmm.
the Eagans that have been presented. These are the possible people who have married in to the Eagan family. There's still a lot we don't know about Imogen, however Code Bell said it. One of the things that I found interesting that we didn't talk about, but came up in our discussion with Mark Geller, who plays Kier, was
Yes.
the birthing statues that were in the birthing cabin, and how one of them was
Oh,
Imogen and one of
yes.
them was a pregnant Kier. And I remember thinking,
Yes.
why does Kier have to be pregnant?
Why?
Because I just thought, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, is it just like sympathy weight? Like, oh, me too. I stand with my wife. And then Mark Geller full out said, no, no, no. Kier is pregnant
No, no,
too.
no. It's the pregnant Kier.
What? So, all that to say, I have so many questions about Imogene,
Yeah.
her role in this. We don't know how long she was alive. We don't know how many kids she had,
Yeah.
or maybe there were some kids that didn't make it. We don't know because,
Hmm.
again, they were in that ether factory, y'all, just huffing
Right.
it
I
up.
mean, and just very common for the time in general
Also
for
true.
like children to not
That's
make it
also
past the
true.
age of 5.
That's also true. And again, I kind of also maybe have a theory that maybe she didn't survive childbirth, and maybe Kier raised Myrtle and Ambrose by himself.
Oh,
after a certain point.
Yeah.
Maybe. Because again, there's so little we know about her, and all we get referentially is like how they met at work, and basically she popped out these two kids, and that's it.
That's it.
So she's not in the perpetuity wing nowhere. And we don't know if she aligned with this Lumon industry and the values and all this workplace stuff. Maybe she wasn't feeling it. Who knows? But I have a lot of questions about her role and where she fits into this canon. I certainly would love to know more about the Gunnel Ambrose stuff. I got a lot of questions. Will we get the answers? I don't know.
Don't know.
I feel like even at the end of this, I still will have questions about this family that won't be answered, and I'm just going to have to live with it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to prepare myself now.
We don't have to think about that.
You're right.
This is going to get 5-6 seasons.
You're right. You're right.
Probably not. But
you know what? I don't even want to speak it. Let's just say we're going to get a season 3 and it's going to be great. And we'll go from there.
We'll go from there.
We'll go from there. All right. Well, that's the Eagan Family Tree, guys. Again, if there are any insights that we missed or theories or things that you find interesting about these family members, this lovely family regarding any of the folks, Gerhardt, Baird, Lenora, Myrtle, I've already forgotten.
I was like, she really about to name them all now?
I lost it. I lost the thread. I started with the ones I knew would be the hardest to remember. And then I was like, wait, now I've forgotten the easy ones. Anyway, James, Ambrose, and Kier.
Pip always gets forgotten because he just has a bar and grill. Yeah, he just got that bar and grill, and that's all. That's it. He just get forgotten.
I forgot Pip. God, I got them all. So sorry, Pip. You had a 12-year tenure. You deserve the respect. You deserve some respect on your name.
On Pip's name.
Oh. But yeah, if you guys want to point any of that out to us, share it with us, please get in touch with us. We are available through all the social medias, Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, Lemonade, YouTube. You can send us a DM or a comment at the UUR Pod via these social channels. You can also email us at the UURpod@gmail.com if you want to postulate any personal theories that you have about what's coming or what's happened or why, etc. And as we mentioned earlier, there's a lot of fun content on our Patreon that you are missing out on, particularly Kali's Second Thoughts. So if you want to check out her rewatch and the things that are popping up, more information we're getting, the theories that she's formulating that she's not going to make public, then you have to join. You have to join our Patreon. So you can go to patreon.com/the-UUR-pod, join the Severed Floor membership tier, and get access to Kali's Second Thoughts, our extended cut episodes, bonus features, video content. This is another thing that I have been told by other folks that have watched either our clips or actually our patrons. You get more with the video. You guys are getting some good audio, but you're missing a lot of moments that are happening with the facials, with the expressions.
I feel like a lot of my reactions, on both ends. I mean, when you brought up incest right now, all you're going to get on the audio is a pause, but there was some facials happening.
And likely not even much of a pause because pauses don't play on audio.
This is true.
Dead air is dead air. So we're just going to cut right to the next thing we say. But if you want to get that moment, you got to watch the videos. And again, those are currently only available on our Patreon. So please join, help support our channel, help support what we're doing, help get us through this in-between season, guys, because we're trying to keep providing the content because we know our fellow Sevies are starved for some severance content of whatever kind they can grasp. And we're trying to be some of the folks that are giving it to you and giving it to you good. So,
and to give you a more concrete idea of what this funds specifically, because I know sometimes that helps, Rodnesha is in desperate need of some new editing stuff for our audio. Girl, you guys, the troubles that her system be giving her right now.
It's true.
You're lucky. You are very lucky. And I am very grateful that she is able to still get these episodes out on the timeline that we want, because it is giving her a hard time.
Kali has heard it usually starts with a text message with an expletive of some kind.
And I'm like, oh,
or me saying I'm going to throw my computer out the window, or myself. And she's like, what now? So we're working with what we can with the tools that we have. But yes, your ability to help us on Patreon will help a lot towards doing better. We want to do better for you guys. We want to do better for us. We want to do better for my sanity. So if you can help contribute, that would be great. It'd be great. Otherwise, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get our podcast. Pretty much up all over the place. So yes, please let us know. And the better the review and the ratings, the more we run up in the channels. And maybe we end up side by side with the main Severance channel, and you guys will find us and more people will find us. And then they can also be in on the cool content that you guys are already in on. We all want to be cool kids, guys. Let's just face it. It's true.
All right. Well, with that, this has been the UUR. And remember, history lives in us whether we learn it or not.
I'm going to force it on you.